Hello there. So, right off the bat, it's gonna be obvious that this is this is different than the video before. What I'm trying to accomplish with this YouTube thing here, I'm trying I'm trying to be intentional with this. I want to do this in a way that is authentic to myself, in a way that is healthy, in a way that I don't compromise my integrity or flanderize myself, in all honesty, right? I don't want to I don't want to spiral. I don't want this to cause that sort of thing because that's what I see. Uh, and I grew up on YouTube, much the same as I'm sure many of you have. And a lot of my favorite creators throughout the years, and maybe some that I haven't even watched, but I've just heard of, and you can probably think of examples too of creators that went down a spiral, like gave too much of themselves to the machine, I suppose. So yeah, yeah, this gameplay here is from last night. I had a very eventful evening last night, and when I got home from all the eventfulness, I I was really in the mood to play Isaac, and so I thought, heck yes, time to record. But then I hopped on to record, and then instead of the commentary flowing, it just wouldn't come out of my mouth. I heard it, I felt it, like I could. It was like running through my head, the almost like not really a stream of words, because if it was a stream of words, it would have been coming out of my mouth, but it didn't quite get there. So yeah, I recorded this run. I found myself unable to provide the commentary, so I just got the microphone and locked in. Lost is not exactly the easiest character, so wanted to kind of lock in for that. Because originally, I am a Tainted Lost main. Tainted Lost is kind of what got me into Isaac, in a way. Or I guess that was like kind of what I remember being my foundational exposure to this game. Was that my close friend has been playing this game for a few years. Yeah, quite a few years. He played before Repentance came out. He introduced me to the game. He and a couple of my friends were playing it at the time. And, I just I peeped some of his gameplay, and I'm just like, wow, the bright colors and the gameplay, like it looks so intuitive and flowing, and I don't know, it just looked like one of those things I had to experience. That's how I usually get into these things. Is that I catch a whiff of it, and I'm like, I already know I'm just gonna love the whole thing. That's how it's always been. And so I played through. I played through on my first save file, and um, I was mostly reflecting my experience off of him. Like it was kind of a journey together that I was playing the game for the first time. But with Tainted Lost, right? He was playing Tainted Lost at the time, and I'm like, that was just even more intriguing to me. I'm like, wow, the ultimate skill check character. And yeah, I would watch him play, and it's like, wow, he's really, it's his gameplay was clearly impressive. Because I think you can see what good like combat and flow and decision making looks like, even if you don't really like know. You know what, you can sense what confidence looks like in this game. And it was just funny. Like I was thinking, what do I want to, what do I want to potentially do with Isaac? Because right now I'm on a win streak on this save file. I was on, I think it was like a negative win streak or 0 win streak or something beforehand, because I probably like hadn't even touched the save file since I finished completing it. But then once I got infinity percent, which wasn't even that long ago, it was a couple weeks ago. Um, where was I going with that? Yeah. So the win streak that you saw, the win streak of 6 that, became 7. That's all the Isaac that I've played since I've finished completing. So, part of me wants to maintain that win streak, but I've never been hard on myself about maintaining a win streak. Like, I was more of a bash my head against the wall until I get a good run type of player. Oh yeah, so Tainted Lost kind of became my focus for the game. I was so excited to get to that character on my first save file. I think I played Tainted Lost as soon as I could. Basically, well, I completed the Lost first, and then I did Tainted Lost, like pretty much as soon as I was able to, and able to do all the completion marks. And then oh man, ugh, it's like first thing in the morning. Well, not really, but for me it is. And so after I completed my first save file, I understood that like I wanted to focus on Tainted Lost, and so I made it my goal for my second save file to curate my unlocks towards what I wanted for Tainted Lost. So I wouldn't go for like any like unlocks that were good for like Red Heart characters, for example. And it was personal preference, based on my own knowledge of the game and preference, just like taste of items that I would want. And then I also did the same thing for my third save file, and that one was even crazier because I sat down and did all the completion marks for the Lost in one sitting, which was cool because previously it had been a longer endeavor. It was one of the more titanic feats of a save file, in my opinion. So, I was thinking like, yeah, I got this initial win streak going. Um, the 7th win is the only footage that you've seen so far, other than this one, right? But the first 6 wins were practice. They were all deleted footage at this point. So now, I never expect to keep the win streak. So question is what to do after that. I was thinking like a Tainted Lost win streak would be cool, right? But then it's so funny that I would think that, and then the tainted, not the tainted, the Eden streak guy, Chewy, he uploaded a video with a title, and the title's basically like, well, I forget, but you can tell the video's about like a Tainted Lost win streak because he poses a question, like if he can win streak as Tainted Lost, and that's what I'm asking. I was already gonna ask that to myself. I was already exploring that last night. Well, I was already thinking about that, right? So it's funny that he would do that. Doesn't mean I can't do that, but I don't think I really want to do that. My original idea actually was a Forgotten streak because I actually really like the Forgotten. Of the 6 wins of deleted footage, 4 of them were of Isaac, very similar to the run that was for my friend. And one of them was of Kain, and got a break with a blank card. and like Judgment and Reverse Judgment. Yeah, I like Forgotten. When I played my third save file, I did, of course, optimize for Tainted Lost unlocks, and that was kind of the first half of that save file. Then the second half was kind of, I felt more able to do that with intention, because with my second save file, it was kind of just like I didn't care because Tainted Lost was the main thing. But then I started to care. Then I started to consume content like Cooked Elk. I began to see major game breaks, and then I started getting major game breaks without Death Certificate unlocked, right? I would get these major game breaks and get a bunch of completion marks on my characters, and that was really cool. Um, but yeah, with that last save file, I decided to save Tainted Forgotten and Forgotten for last. Just because, well, first of all, teehee, I forgot to do them, so I guess I'll do them last. Silly little joke. But also just because they're kind of my favorite characters, and I wanted to see how it would feel to play them with most things unlocked. And I think it was worth it for me to do that because I found myself not really always knowing like, what synergies would and wouldn't work or what they would even do with the Forgotten. And then Tainted Forgotten's just different, and then but mostly just keeping in mind that your body gets effects and not the spirit, right? Not the soul guy. Soul guy doesn't get any like effects from items on his physical being because the physical being is the body, I suppose. But yeah, Forgotten's not like that because the chained ghost man does get it. But anyway, regular Forgotten is a very cool character, and I just feel like they're a very unique character to play, and I think I want to explore that. I think that's probably what's going to come after this. But yeah, I guess another thing I wanted to touch on is that with like trying to be intentional with this YouTube thing, I realized that I have the power to kind of curate a community in a way, even though I don't really know to what extent I should view this as a community. Because I don't really want to put too much emotional stock into this. It's the act of creation itself that I care about, not really like the numbers, right? I don't care so much about subscribers or views or likes or anything like that. Like, how do I even say this? I guess, in a sense, what you need to understand is that there's a part of me, a loud part of me, that is warning me of how parasocial um, content creation and consumption is. Because I know that. I know that. I'm just, I don't know, usually on the other side of this interaction, right? And that's influence of Dreg, obviously. But like on the other hand, I also think that it doesn't have to be that way at all. It really doesn't. Because like I said, I have the power to curate. You guys have the power to curate. I'm not going to so much pour myself into this, not pour myself into my audience of, of friends and strangers. What I think would be really cool is if I could make this part of my daily routine. I need to be in a good place for that, right? because this YouTube thing isn't going to be, I can't let this be like the one thing that holds me when nothing else will. It has to be working in tandem with everything else going on in my life, which I'm honestly starting to thrive in. It's not easy, and wherever you are with that, I have compassion and empathy. I don't know, and I guess the elephant in the room, right? What did my friend think of the run? Well, I honestly, he hasn't seen it yet. He's a busy little guy, and I am too. I'm busy. Well, we're all busy. And that's why I didn't hop like right on making a video every day or anything, because I want to take this at its own proper organic pace, whatever that may be, and that's what I'm trying to feel that out. I think, yeah, I wanted to wait to see if my friend, see what my friend thought about it, because I know that he's also interested in YouTube, and I don't want to just like jump headfirst into this and leave him into the dust, but at the same time, I'm not going to put my creative flow on pause just because I am placing this arbitrary restriction on myself that I can't move forward um, until he watches the video and gives me feedback, right? Because that's how I end up compounding my issues. And I guess, say what you will about this, but I I mean, did you see the run the other day? Like, that was live commentary, and um, I don't know if you noticed or not, but the audio was definitely sort of desynced starting around the dark room. Because I could tell in the footage, or like in the final product, I was reacting to things faster than I would have been able to. But that's because I'm recording the audio separate from the video, and then I'm like, I put them together, and I thought I had them all lined up, but cutting it up, trimming the fat off of the footage. Hold on, kind of lost my train of thought, but I guess we'll find it again. We'll find it again later. I remember where I was going with that. I'm like, come on. Yeah. Apologies for the audio desync, and I mean, did you see that run? I was speaking shit into existence. Did you not see that? It's like everything I wanted, I got, and yeah, I think that's how I'm trying to tie this all together, right? Because that's also how I felt doing the win streak before, like the deleted footage, all the deleted footage. It was kind of like that, where I might allude to something earlier in the run, like, oh, this is a possibility, and then it happens. Like I talked about, I had a run where I was talking about planetariums, and I was like, oh yeah, one of my favorite things to do when it's possible is to get multiple planetarium items. Like if I have a reverse stars or a mystery gift or anything to spawn a pedestal and re-roll it. If I have a planetarium on the floor, like I want to do that because that's how often do you get the opportunity to do that, right? Um, I think Isaac is a game that is good at bringing luck out of me and others. And what do I mean by luck? Well, I'm holding on to a definition that was given to me by the friend that got me into Binding of Isaac, and I'm not sure if this originated in his head or somewhere else, but either way, still holds weight. IMO. Forgot the words, by the way. Forgot what I was just gonna say. Oh yeah, luck is willingness meeting opportunity. Um, And so, you know, there's the passive part of that, things happening to you. That's kind of opportunity, right? Because even when things are happening to you or things are circumstantial to you, kind of lost my train of thought. Yes. So when things are circumstantial to you, even when that's the case, like you are still an active participant, because what those circumstances are relative to you is opportunity to act on those circumstances. And that's where willingness comes in. Willingness is like your willingness to do so. And we can talk a day in and day out about what willingness is, like what is will and is it free will and whatnot. Um, at the end of the day, it is what you want. At the end of the day, it honestly just is whatever you believe it is to be. And if you spend time talking about it and putting your attention onto it, then, I mean, you tell me what value that provides to you. Because my will feels free, and that's good enough for me. And I found that it's like, yes, I've been down those very thinky rabbit holes before, and consuming ideas of that, and so I think Isaac provides those sorts of opportunities, like provides opportunity. That's all it kind of is, because everything's kind of random in this game. Everything is kind of circumstantial, but requires you to take action, right? The game does not play itself, of course. And I feel like in my day-to-day life, I have a lot of opportunity. And I feel like when I'm on the up and up, when I'm straight up feeling fine, feeling myself, feeling like myself, everything's just like there's opportunity everywhere. And my willingness feels more tuned to those opportunities, to the opportunities that are true to me, the opportunities that are right for me. Like last night, I know I haven't gone into it really, but last night I was gaming with some friends and then I decided, yeah, I'll go to the store that's like right up the street from me to get some food. And then on the way, like I see everyone dressed all medievally, so I'm like, huh? Like, what's going on here? I'm interested. And so I ask the first strangers that I see, like, what's going on here? Like, everyone's dressed so cool. I gotta know. I gotta know. And that right there is willingness meeting opportunity. Because, you know, I could have just said, I'm on a mission right now. I'm hungry. I'm gonna get some food and eat it. I could have done that, and like that could have been my evening, and then I could have come back home and eaten the food and sat on my computer some more. But that's not what happened. You know, I took the opportunity instead. And that opportunity being that there was a performance at the theater. There's a theater as well. Uh, Live pretty close to town, so there's always stuff going on. But yeah, there was a theater going on with just a really, really cool performance. And as these strangers dressed as an elf and like I don't really know. I don't really know. Um, but just like these strangers that were dressed all medievally, I didn't even understand like what the show was gonna be like at all based on how they were describing it. Um, like I, you know, I thought I was walking into like a play of sorts, but it was yeah, a musical performance, but also a narrative, and also, but yeah. And then, but there was just like even more willingness meeting opportunity. Well, yeah, but then like when I got up to the door, this dude was dressed all in rainbow. And so I walk up to him and I'm like, yo, dude, nice fit. And he's, and yeah, what do you know? He just like, he's out there trying to hand out a ticket. And so I guess I'm the lucky contestant. Because I'm like unsure. He's asking like, oh yeah, you trying to see the performance? And I'm thinking like, oh no, he's gonna tell me the box office is closed. And then he's like, nope, actually, I've got an extra ticket. You're sitting with us. In the fourth row as well, like good seats. Wow, let me tell you. Um, and then the performance itself was mind blowing. It was very unique. And so yeah, not only did my willingness meet the opportunity to do that, but my unwillingness for other opportunities allowed for this, you see, because I always have the opportunity to sit around and waste away, or I have the opportunity to seize the day. I died. I died on this run as the Lost. I, you know, I don't really know how to fight the heretic if I'm being honest. Um, no. I know how to fight the heretic. That was just a bad heretic fight. I was just playing very sloppy. But I went into that kind of like already kind of accepting that I probably wouldn't win. But yeah, I felt like maintaining the win streak is not what I want to be doing with this channel. And if I am, then it's going to be a forgotten win streak, and we'll see about that. We'll see how that goes. I'll see you. I'll see you next time with that, I suppose. So yeah, I know that like this is obviously very different from the previous video I've made, and that's because I'm not forcing a structure on myself whatsoever. I mean, if you know where this kind of talk is coming from, then you know what I mean. But this everything is kind of just like set and setting. It's kind of like, where am I mentally, physically, emotionally? And because I think as I see this sort of thing as an art form, and as I see everything as an art form, that's just how I'm going to live and be authentic. And that's how this content and that's how this content is going to be produced. So whether you're here for it or not, I'm expressing the things I need to express and putting them out there. So, I mean, if you're stuck with me at this point, hooray. Well, thanks for sticking with me if you have. Yeah, this was a more chill one, so I'll catch you with a forgotten streak tomorrow, I suppose. Tomorrow? Question mark?